been revealed, and I can tell you that I was told by a member of the family to have it checked out.
Gail took the death certificate and items written by Elvis to Paul Wiest, a certified graphologist who specializes in investigating forgeries.
I was asked by Gail Giorgio to examine some handwriting of Elvis Presley. She supplied me with a copy of a letter written to President Nixon in 1970 and the death certificate or medical examiner's report at the time of his reported death. I examined these two documents and compared them by measuring the slant of the handwriting, the spacing between the letters, spacing between the words, the size of the letters, and the individual letter formations. I also made transparent photocopies where I could lay one photocopy, a transparent copy on top of another one for close comparison. I examined these under transmitted light with a light table. The result of my examination was that I found that the slant matched on both documents, that the size of the letters was the same, the spacing between the letters was the same, and many of the individual letter forms were the same. My conclusions after this exhaustive examination was, in my professional opinion as a document examiner, that the same person who wrote the letter to President Nixon also wrote the Elvis Presley death certificate or medical examiner's report of Elvis Presley's death.
But we did meet with St. Louis businessman Bill Beanie. Beanie has what's thought to be the old authentic Elvis DNA. He got it from a Memphis doctor.
He has a large clinic in Memphis. He's under the shadow of Graceland, and he didn't want any controversy that involved him.
Medical records and tissue samples taken by pathologist Dr. Harold Sexton were sent to a lab.
To protect himself, Dr. Sexton kept copies of everything he did.
A 1975 liver biopsy was compared to an autopsy tissue sample.
As I said, how do we know these are Elvis samples? The doctor went to the medical records, which have the heading of the Baptist Hospital on them, and there they referred to these slides.
Elvis's DNA from the biopsy did not match the tissue sample from his autopsy. Beanie and the doctor arrived at a startling conclusion.
I can't argue with science. Elvis was not in the casket.
Beanie's friends formed the Presley Commission. They took their evidence to Memphis and tried to get the case reopened. Both the local police and Tennessee Attorney General's office refused. Lisa Marie also respectfully refused our request for DNA. And a spokesperson from Elvis Presley Enterprises writes, "The book is so completely ridiculous that we will not dignify it with participation in your story."